That's right. Okay, it is KOPN.org on the web. We're 89.5 FM. It's Rootin' Tootin' Radio. My name is Mike Hagan. I'm sitting in for the Ranger, me and Coppertop here. And for today's show, we are joined by a wonderfully talented artist from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm not sure if that's where she's from originally, but we're going to find out. Her name is Kristen Ford. It's a pleasure to have her with us this afternoon. So, yeah, once again, hey, Kristen, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Thank you for coming down.
I'm really happy to be here in the new space.
Yeah, so you actually are familiar with KOPN from the old days over on Broadway.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about your, how did that come about?
You know, I went on my first national tour back in 2011, and a friend that I was touring with, Cara Culpa, had, I think, worked at a prison or something in mid-Missouri and found Columbia as her refuge of hippies and minstrels.
Yes.
And so we came to visit her old friend Violet Vonderhaar and started touring through. And I've made Columbia part of my routing of tours ever since. So I've been on KOPN and I've played the Lupus General Store and... You know, we've had some fun times. I heard they moved the Pride later in the year because they used to have it in August, and I almost passed out on stage.
Yeah, it was just.
It's been fun.
I think it was last weekend, as a matter of fact.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Pride Fest was, and it was quite well attended and very successful, I think. So.
I love it.
Yeah. All right, so a little bit of background, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Where are you from originally, Kristen?
I grew up in Western Massachusetts, but I lived in 6 states by the time I was 18, so I've experienced a lot of different places.
Military family or something like that?
Higher ed family.
Aha.
So
how high?
I know, right? Yeah, my dad would just get different jobs, and we'd move around, and it kind of led me to this lifestyle where I enjoy being on tour. I feel really at home being in new places with new faces, and then old faces that you get to see again, you know?
That's got to be a thrill, actually, when you're a touring musician and you start to recognize people in the crowd from Chicago or Milwaukee or wherever it is, and then you see them again. It's got to be like, wow.
Yeah, it's a cool trip. It's also great when you write a song in your bedroom and then you hear people singing along with the words, or you see the mouths moving, and you know, it's just special because music is so personal, but then you're sharing it so you can connect with folks. Yeah, for sure. Do you have a background in music? Are your parents or something in your family that's sort of musically inclined? My dad's a singer, and my grandmother, I lost her this year, but I feel her presence with me, and she was playing organs from the age of 13 to the age of 90. So wow. That's like the one woman band of the 1940s, and
I love it.
I try to carry the what's it called? The baton?
Yeah, carry the torch.
Into 2022, where I've got a lot more electronics and beatboxing and, you know, just incorporating new stuff into that. But yeah, I think it's in my blood to do music, and it's just always been something that since I started playing, I can't hold another job, but music's got a hold of me pretty good.
Pretty good, huh? You had a show last night in St. Louis, I think.
I did, yeah.
Where was that, if you don't mind?
It was at Evangeline's, and it was...
That's a cool little venue.
Yeah, it's like New Orleans vibes, and also a really diverse crowd. I think Nashville is a beautiful place, but it really struggles with being really segregated and being kind of like low-key racist. It's like always there, but no one talks about it. And St. Louis is a great
Memphis kind of like that
mixed
too,
salad or melting pot of people.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Let me think about. Well, you're going to play some songs for us, I think. I don't know if you're ready yet. I know we're going to.
I could rock into it. That's cool.
You want to play one for us?
Sure.
Let's do that, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more. We've got Kristen Ford in the studio with us this afternoon. It's Rootin' Tootin' Radio on KOPN Columbia 89.5 FM. We're streaming on the web at KOPN.org, and this is really a great little surprise and a bonus for myself, primarily because I get these private little concerts here in the beautiful new KOPN studios. And yeah, that's fine. Just point one at your guitar, do the vocal one, Kristen, and I'll take care of the
cool.
the levels back here. And anyway, yeah, Kristen Ford, she's playing tonight, as a matter of fact, at the Compass Listening Room. It's a really cool new venue over there on Hitt Street, on the corner of Hitt and University. I was actually there for the opening show about a month ago, I think. It was a wonderful jazz show with Samantha Furkey and her quartet, and Luca Merpogo came up and showed up and played saxophone. And anyway, it was a great show. I haven't been there since. There's been a bunch of great music there in the last few weeks. Tonight is going to be no different. Kristen Ford will be performing. What time? I think it's
6 o'clock. Doors at 5. Shows at 6.
All right.
It's all ages, all rages.
All ages, all rages. And once again, that is at the new Compass Listening Room, and it's over the University and Hit Street. I think you can get tickets online, I imagine. Just Google or do. I hate saying Google. I hate giving them free advertising like that. Do a web search using whatever engine you might, and look up the Compass Listening Room in Columbia, Missouri, and find a way to check out the tickets for tonight's show with Kristen Ford. It's going to be an awesome performance, and you're going to get a little taste of it right now. So thank you again for playing some songs for us. What are you going to do?
This song is called Gray Sky Blue. You said you dug it, so I'm going to do it for you.
I listened to it this morning. It's awesome. All right. I'm interested to hear a little acoustic side of it. So, all right. Once again, Rootin' Tootin' Radio. This is Kristen Ford, and we'll be back with you in just a few minutes.
Drunk and you're laughing at the party, just for the night to pretend that you're happy. Take a fish out of water, you're gasping for breath. Try to play it cool, but you die a little death. So what's it worth to you to try to paint a gray sky blue? You want my shelter, you were turning in, and all I want is the breeze upon my skin. I could take you to the playa down in Mexico. That ain't gonna help it, we both already know. We could sell the furniture at the open road, put the lightning in the bottle, yeah, the kind we had before. So what's it worth to you to try to paint a gray sky blue? You want my shelter, you were turning in, and all I want is the breeze upon my skin. Shelter, you were turning in, but I want lightning in a bottle. Woo! Hey, thank you very much.
All right. Kristen Ford in the studio this afternoon. Wonderful stuff. Kristen, how'd you make your way to Nashville?
I was on tour living out of a van for like 2 years straight.
Down by the river?
Yeah, sometimes. Mostly down by the Walmart with the free overnight parking. But, yeah, I visited every major city in America. I had been in Boston for 6 years, kind of on accident, and I knew it was time for me to leave Boston and go to the next thing. And I played this event called New Faces Night at the Basement. and it's a free show that has like 7 bands come through and play like 3 or 4 songs each.
Mm-hmm.
And in one night, I heard better music than I had heard in an entire 9 months of being on the road with whatever random opening band or whatever show I could catch on a night off. And I just thought, I gotta be where
all this talent is.
All this is happening. And I'm not a big fan of winter, so it's nice to be in the South.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how long has this been going on? When did you actually start like seriously on with your music career?
You know, I actually just recently heard the Indigo Girls give a talk, and I was able to ask them a question about their career, and they kept talking about how they were getting there, and they just said, you know, just have as much fun as possible and follow the fun, and the rest will unfold. And
I think that's great advice, no matter what your career is, frankly, or whatever your track in life. Follow the fun.
Why not?
Yeah,
it's a one-way ticket, you know.
They say it to everyone, like performers on stage, whether they're theatrical or musicians. They say it to athletes. Make sure you're having fun out there. You know, always have fun. You play the best when you're having fun. I think there's something to it for sure. You definitely get that. You definitely get the buzz off of it. You know.
I think I've been taking it seriously maybe for too long, but having more and more fun with it.
Well, you're making really good music. Let's talk a little bit about this new record. It is called War in the Living Room. I think it was released maybe last year.
Yeah, so I'm kind of on a West Coast run this month, counting down to the 1-year anniversary. It dropped on 11/11/2021.
Right.
So 11/11/2022, I'll be playing the Lipstick Lounge in Nashville. And
nice.
Then we'll kind of say, okay, we promoted the record for the year, and it's, you know, I'm always writing songs, so I'm ready for the next thing. But yeah, War in the Living Room was a really amazing, like, my fans really stepped up, and we raised a bunch of money so that I could work with some people that I was super excited about. One being June Millington, my mentor. She's from the rock band Fanny and voted one of the best guitarists of all time by Guitar Player magazine.
And she's involved in this new record, right?
She is. She produced half the tracks.
Yeah, has quite a big influence on it.
And then I also worked with Brett Bullion, who has produced like Bon Iver and Lizzo and Bad Bad Hats, Now, a bunch of indie acts out of Minneapolis. So it was fun to work with Brett and kind of take his sort of new school indie rock vibe and blend that with June's super old school 70s.
Yeah, it comes through
vibe.
too. You feel it both on the record.
Yeah, and also like it's such a boys club doing music. I gotta make sure that I have women involved with projects that I do and non-binary folks, and
yeah, good for you.
Know,
absolutely.
Keep it funky.
That's right.
Yeah.
Keep people paying attention too.
Absolutely.
Right. Are you a self-taught musician, or how'd you learn how to play guitar?
Oh, I've had a lot of help over the years, but I picked it up at 14, and, you know, guitar is such a great folk instrument because everybody knows a few chords, everybody knows something. So whether it was somebody at my church who could show me a little thing, or I went to performing arts high school, so I got a few lessons there, and going to June's rock camp at 15 was a huge impact on me. So I think I've been always more interested in writing songs and telling stories and finding interesting voicings rather than becoming a super technical guitar player.
Oh, you're a pretty talented guitar player. Yeah. No, I play
I
a little
love
bit.
music, you know.
Yeah. So, what are you playing there? I do this show normally on Saturday afternoons, and this is what we do. It's live music in the studio, and I have to remember that the listeners are different on a Sunday afternoon. But on Saturday afternoon, a lot of my listeners like to talk tech, and they want to know what kind of guitar you're playing and how you set up on stage, that type of thing. Real quick.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So I'm really excited to be endorsed by Gallagher Guitars. They're a fantastic guitar maker.
I own a Gallagher guitar.
Okay.
It's got the nylon supports underneath the top as opposed to wood. The one that I have, and I remember that was their selling point when I bought it or whatever.
Cool.
Anyway,
does it play good? Does it sound good?
It plays great. Yeah,
That's
it's a
awesome.
big dreadnought sort of. It's a pretty full size guitar, and I prefer this little GS Mini that I have, a little Taylor. It's more along that size that you're playing.
Yeah. So this is kind of like a smaller body mahogany guitar.
It's a beautiful guitar,
and it has dinosaur bone inlay, as well as my initials, KFO. KFO is my nickname.
That's awesome.
So they built it to my specs, and I do a lot of live looping where I'm I'm doing like body hits on the guitar. Sometimes I sing into the guitar, and they knew that it needed to be really strong because I was going to put it through the ringers. And then just the action is crazy low because I want to have those nice ringing chords, but then, I'm also going to play probably all over the neck. So, and then I'm also endorsed by G7th capos that they're the only capo that doesn't throw your guitar sharp, because usually they kind of look like a claw. This is the most boring conversation for non-guitar players ever. They're like, what's a capo? So for me, it's helpful because you can play a lot of stuff open and just change the key of it using a capo.
Yes.
And then G7th is just a super unique design where you squeeze it, and because of the way that it's designed, it doesn't throw your guitar out of tune, and I don't break as many strings. And then finally, I've got K&K pickups, which
on this acoustic.
Yeah, because I do a lot of live looping, and I'm running this guitar through something that makes it sound like a bass or a synthesizer or distortion or wah-wah. It's important that the sound be really clear and really customizable. And this K&K is like, wow.
All right.
So there's all my brands that I'm aligned with. Thank you for this advertising.
No, it's great. It's good. No, I'm
section of the show.
No, it's interesting. I like it, and I think we should show it off again. Play us another song.
Okay, sure.
Right? Or do you want it? Or do you want us to take a break? I mean, I can chat for a minute because I've got to do a little thing here. If you want to.
No, let's do one more song.
Are we good?
Let's do it.
Okay, so it's Rootin' Tootin' Radio. You're listening to KOPN Columbia, 89.5 FM. And it's Rootin' Tootin' Radio on Sunday. I'm normally not on the air, but I love it this afternoon. We've got Kristen Ford in the studio with us. I want to mention that the Biscuits Beat and Brews Festival is happening this weekend. It was actually Friday, Saturday, and finishes up this afternoon. You can still catch Kyron Penrose, one of my favorite local artists here in town. Noah Earl, another fantastic singer-songwriter, be playing this afternoon. And Molly Healy and her string project. I mean, outstanding music this afternoon.
Yeah, I know Noah and Molly.
They're both friends of mine as well, and I love them both. And in fact, Kyron's a young man. He's only maybe 21 or 22 years old, and I have great hopes for him. So
okay.
Anyway, so yeah, that's this afternoon down in Rocheport. A beautiful afternoon to be outside, and this evening is going to be really nice down at the Compass Listening Room because Miss Kristen Ford is going to be rocking and rolling down there. And now, you'll have a band with you this evening, or
I'm a one-woman looping band.
One woman show tonight.
Yes.
Okay,
but I promise it keeps up with my ADD, so it can keep up with your demands as an audience.
All right,
you'll stay entertained.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. I've been listening to her music for the last couple of days since Violet sort of tipped me off, and yeah, really great stuff from this awesome artist that's I guess making her home in Nashville right now, but we'll never know where she may be off to next. So. All right, Kristen Ford in the studio one more time. Let's do it. What do you want to do for us?
I'm gonna do a new song. It's called White Man's Dream.
Alrighty.
Swimming upstream in a southern city, the biggest fish meet the biggest pond. Ladies get invited to the good old boys party if it's low cut, teacup, platinum blonde. I don't sing about boats. I never even owned a truck, neither I know tail lights, state lines, loading out late nights, cruising the country with the 18-wheelers. Sometimes I wish I was a boy, so I could be the all-American they wanted. I can write, I can play, I can sing. I'm just a girl sleepwalking in a white man's dream. I'm a girl sleepwalking in a white man's dream. Raise your glass to the mighty Mississippi. other man. How quickly you forget my great-great-great-grandmother. She died picking cotton. Stolen people slaving on stolen land. Sometimes I wish I was a boy, so I could check off all the boxes like they wanted, not a master or a slave. Guess I'm something in between. I'm a girl sleepwalking in a white man's dream. I'm a girl sleepwalking, it's a white man's dream. Rainbow babes, you can change your names if the pronouns don't fit right. Jesus saves, he said, love the little children. Now you don't have to fit in, 'cause there are ones and zeros, and then you is a hero. But I'm still trying to let it go. Sometimes I wish I was a boy, so I could check off all the boxes like they wanted. Not a master or a slave, guess I'm something in between. I'm a girl sleepwalking in a white man's dream. Won't you check one box? Won't you choose one race? I'm a mixed girl rocking on a white man's stage. You could be queer, trans, straight, whatever, maybe in between. I'm a girl sleepwalking in a white man's dream. I'm a girl sleepwalking in a white man's dream. Ooh. Change is a shifty thing. Songbirds, you gotta sing. Tweet, 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 tweet. Someday she's gonna rise, oh, she's gonna shine. 'Cause it was only a dream.
Oh, yeah. Woo! Kristen Ford. You're listening to it here live on KOPN 89.5 FM. Wonderful stuff. Tell me a little bit about that song. You know what it reminded me of straight away when I heard the title? I thought about that awesome Liz Phair record from called Exile in Guyville.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, that I love Liz Phair. I still think she's great. But her first record was just off the charts. So.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, okay. So is that a relatively new song, or is that something that's that goes a little bit further back?
It's pretty new. I wouldn't even say that it's necessarily done. It's sitting where it's at for right now.
Hasn't been recorded.
Hasn't been recorded, and I have plans to record it with a producer who I can't say who it is yet, but it might change everything.
All right.
No pressure.
Hey, I feel like we're back downtown. I can hear the sirens.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if that's a good or a bad sign of the timing of that.
I don't like it.
But yeah, I was in this songwriting course that was pretty neat. We had different hit songwriters come, and over Zoom it's amazing. You can get in touch with lots of people, and just talking about the way different hit songwriters have their process and workflow, and analyzing songs. And then every few weeks you could bring a song to class and get feedback, and having that structure was actually really helpful to have me just get some songs out there. I have such a love-hate in terms of commodifying music, because I it's kind of a spiritual and magical thing for me. But I do think it's empowering to learn the rules so that you can bend or break them, or build the muscle so that you can lift that weight if you want to. If you're not inspired to, okay, fine, but at least have the ability to do it.
Yeah. One of my questions is about songwriting. All artists have a way that they go about it. Some are more structured. Some sit down at 5 a.m. every morning and make sure they write for at least a little while. Do you have a process or a style that when you're making new songs or coming up with new ideas?
I would say it's totally random. Sometimes I'll have a flash of inspiration, or I'll sit down to actually write a song, and I'll work at something and not really get anywhere. And then when I decide to give myself a air quote break, then I'll write something great in like 10 minutes, after laboring for hours. And I've also enjoyed getting to work with different producers and different co-writers. And also I play with a cellist in a duo called Evergreen.
Cool.
Where we like chain our loopers together, and it's just like this experimental acoustic, cool, vibey, jammy thing. And then I also play with Kristen Ford in the Assembly, which is like a 4-piece rock band. So
I can see that.
If I'm trying to arrange a song with a drummer, it's a totally different vibe as trying to like craft lyrics with another songwriter. So I would be hard pressed to say I have one particular process, but until I got just royalty checks like making my mailbox explode, I would say I still have a lot of learning and growth to do.
Do you write frequently, though? I mean, how prolific are you? Are you writing songs all the time, or are they few and far
I write songs
between?
all the time. I wrote a song this morning.
Really?
Because we needed a song they were at like the blessing of the dogs, the blessing of the pets. Sorry, I'm kind of a dog person, so it's my bias coming out.
Right. We all have
sorry,
them.
cat people. My show tonight, we will be welcomed. We won't discriminate. But, I didn't really have an original song that was fitting for the vibe, so I just ad-libbed it on the spot, and that's something that I can do, and it's pretty fun, because sometimes it means every single show is going to be different. I'm curious if I'm in a stadium and the pressure's up high, could I still do it? But I bet I can. It's just like riding the waves.
Right.
It's fun.
Well, and I think, and even the normal evolution of a song. I mean, I know artists that wrote something years ago and they perform it completely different now on stage than they did when it was originally written. So it's almost a natural thing, one way or the other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I don't think I'm one of those writers that's like gonna write 500 songs in a year with a bunch of different strangers and just try to crank them out.
Right.
I think there could be some of that, but it's like sometimes you're on the treadmill and sometimes you want to take a walk in the woods. Do
you collaborate though with the other projects that you're involved with, Evergreen and?
Yeah, it's always an evolution, and I have quite a few co-writers on this record, War in the Living Room, where it takes a village sometimes.
Where did you record that album?
I recorded it half in Minneapolis and half at the Institute for Musical Arts, which is in Western Massachusetts, which is mostly where I grew up.
Okay. All right. Were you happy with the final result?
Oh, absolutely. And especially, this is my 5th studio album, but it's my first on vinyl. And
the artwork's really cool too, by the way.
Oh yeah, thanks. Especially on a 12-inch vinyl, it looks really good. And listening to the record, hearing the songs blend, and then flipping the record and listening to the tail end, it's a really special feeling. And artists, watch out. Vinyl's like a gateway drug. If you press one on vinyl, you're gonna need to do every album on vinyl.
As a quick side note, I recently inherited my father's record collection. He passed away in October of last year, as a matter of fact, and there's like 7,000 LPs from the mid 50s through the 2000s, and he had just an extremely open minded ear, if that makes sense. But there's all kinds of stuff there, and for me, going through it now, it's sort of like a treasure hunt, because it's just all mixed up, and you never know what you're going to find. But it's really it's amazing, and it is I'm stunned by it. So
yeah, and the sound quality, we've gotten really used to really terrible sounding music, and
Spotify and.
Yeah, like I'm on tour, I'm driving, so I'm listening to stuff on Spotify, and I was just getting like really bummed out. So I don't know, maybe tweet or like DM me your suggestions of what's a better way to go. Maybe I need to bring back the CD, Rolodex, the CD book with all.
Well, there's something to be said for your own music collection, the actual physical collection, because if nothing else, certainly the sound quality is much higher than you're getting over these internet streams.
But that's another reason that it's so important to go out and hear artists live.
You bet.
And especially at intimate listening rooms and house concerts, because the feeling of a musician sharing their song in a room and you feeling the waves that they're making, and it's a transformative experience that I've experienced time and time again. And when you listen to the recording, it's not the same. I
concur absolutely. Those small intimate shows are the highlights of my listening life. The best shows I've seen have been in those circumstances. And with that in mind, it's going to happen tonight at the new Compass Listening Room. Woohoo! My guest, Kristen Ford, who I'm so thrilled that we got that Violet put us in touch with one another. And I'd like to ask you a quick question about that, actually, after we talk about the show really quickly. But anyway, tonight, doors at 5, shows at 6. Kristen is fantastic. It's going to be a really fun time tonight. There's a really great group of people that are making this thing happen over at Compass. Huge tip of the hat to Violet and Phil Sean, and I want to add Lloyd Warden in there too. Lloyd was a huge help, and I'm sure there are many other people, the Veterans United people that donated a bunch of money to make a dream sort of come true. So anyway, I'm really thrilled that we've got this new venue in Columbia, and like Kristen was saying, that's for a musician, that's a great place to play, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's kind of I feel like musicians, especially in the smaller rooms when you're playing restaurants and bars, you're put in an impossible position because you are expected to be background, and yet you're also supposed to share something super authentic and magic,
right? And personal.
So it's tricky, and yet sometimes you do need those rooms to fund, the passion projects. So rooms like Compass and also all ages spaces, it's really important that the kids can go out and hear music, and
absolutely,
and also that it's not has to be alcohol involved in everything.
Thank you very much.
It's nice to have a space that's going to be kind of just like high vibe. Yeah,
I agree with you. What? How did you meet Violet?
I met her through Cara Culpa on that first tour back in 2011. I think they had been jamming in a band, and
were you familiar with the band, with the camps that they've been doing here for all those years?
I worked at the Compass 1 or 2 summers. I've dropped in and done some stuff. Starts too early for my taste. First class is at 8:30 a.m. No, right. Thanks.
Come on, these are musicians. You got to give it at least till 10 o'clock, right?
But yeah, it's a pretty incredible group of students and faculty, and I think having traveled all over, I think a lot of times people don't realize how much, spaces like Columbia have going on for them without having seen it, the vibe that's here. It should be on par with like Austin or Oakland or something, the amount of creativity and the amount of just cool people making stuff happen.
Right, and the support from the venues, et cetera, right?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. I got a few more for you, but let's have another song if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'd love to. All right. What song shall we song?
All right, Kristen Ford with me in the studio this afternoon. It's Rootin' Tootin' Radio, and you're listening to it here, KOPN Columbia, 89.5 FM. And catch Kristen tonight at the new, awesome Compass Listening Room. Tickets available online. Just look for Compass Listening Room, and I'm sure they got Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff going. And check it out. It's going to be a great show tonight, all right? Meanwhile, here she is.
Sitting on my front porch, wishing you were here. We could tear it up like we did last year. Oh yeah, we're wasted in Las Vegas. We're best friends, chilling in the parking lot. Toyota we hotboxed, and I wish you were around. You pick me up every time I'm down. Oh yeah, we're stoners. We're a bit hungover, but we're best friends. Let's face it, we ain't winning no Nobel Peace Prize. We're growing older, ain't growing any wiser. But at this point, we're in this one together. Oh yeah, if you need anything, you know what, baby doll, I'll be on the very next flight. But I'm not flying Spirit because I respect myself just a little bit more than that. But I will be on the next available, affordable flight. We're best friends. Chilling on the roof deck, trying to come off of it. The city looks perfect from up here. Yeah, we're in Brooklyn, taking other people's prescriptions. No, I don't think we have a clue what we're doing. Oh yeah, but if you need it, and even if it's not even important, I would die for you, 'cause we're best friends. Whatever you want, we're friends. We're best friends. We're best friends.
Nice. Love the guitar playing in that one. That's pretty hot.
Thank you.
All right. Fantastic stuff. Once again, Kristen Ford with us this afternoon. You can catch her at Compass, the Compass Listening Room tonight. 6 o'clock show. It's going to be fantastic.
Woo.
All right. We talked a little bit about the Nashville scene, but I never get a chance to talk. I'm always talking about the Columbia and the Mid-Missouri scene and the St. Louis scene, but the Nashville scene, you alluded a little bit to what it's like there. The pros and the cons.
Sure.
You mentioned clearly fantastically talented people there.
Yeah, it's incredible. If you want to go get inspired, you can hear amazing musicians for free playing somewhere
all the time.
And then if you're looking for collaborators or to get inspired, you can go to writers rounds and writers nights and hear new writers, up and comers. And then also there's certain venues where you can pay a ticket and hear the top notch writers. And also, like, downtown, it kind of gets a bad rap. Our Broadway is a lot different than the Columbia Broadway, where there's bachelorette parties and lots of drunk tourists, and it's madness. But then you also have some of the bands that are playing there are like, mostly dudes, but people who have families to support, and sometimes they do that normal gig like 2-3 times a week, and they're just at the top of their game, or it's like Miranda Lambert's touring band, but if she's not on the road, then they're going to be at Tootsie's or whatever playing,
just tearing it up,
their music. So that's really cool. Something that I think is a bummer about Nashville is like it's Music City and everything. The focus is all on music, but when you get into the neighborhoods, like there's not really sidewalks. They don't really take care of the schools aren't great. If you're a local musician, there's other cities like Austin where they have like musicians healthcare and kind of like a union thing to take care of the people who are out there gigging and working. And Nashville is just kind of like, we want you to come to stay at these hotels and eat at these restaurants and spend your money. And it's good. It's really easy to get a job, especially in hospitality in Nashville, which keeps everybody happy and healthy and, but, I think if they really want to be Music City, there's a long way to go in terms of actually you got to support
the overall support of the art in general. Yeah,
the locals and as a local band doing original music, it's just very saturated, supply and demand. I find it easier to go out on tour and remember why I'm supposed to be doing this and have receptive audiences, and you can overplay very easily in Nashville. So Yeah, I can see it, and I can see it being a little bit on the frustrating side, perhaps too, when you're in a sea of such equally talented people, essentially. Sure.
Yeah, but trying to stand out, trying to come up with something that does it. Right.
Yeah. And also, like, it's just, I feel like I allude to that in the song White Man's Dream. Like, if you are a certain type of woman, then they want to see you on stage, and if you're not, then they don't. And I would say that same thing goes for different races of performers too. Like, it's just kind of country music, it came from Africa. The banjo is an African instrument, and any American music, you have to trace it back to slavery and
certainly the rhythm and blues.
It's a hard history that we have to reconcile with. But I think by just having a little bit of gratitude and humility approaching it, I feel so blessed to get to tour this big old country and play American music, which I've done all over the world, and we're famous for it. So
I love it. Where you heading after Columbia?
Wichita, Kansas.
Wichita, Kansas.
Yes.
Played a song by this great artist, Gretchen. What's her last name? But anyway, the song's called Wichita earlier today.
Oh, great! I need to listen to that on my way.
Gretchen Williams is it? Anyway, let's talk about some of your favorite shows that you performed. You've been all over the place now for so many years. Any highlights where you're like, oh my gosh, that show when we did this or that? I mean, I'm sure you've had you enjoy a lot of them, but maybe got some highlights. Though.
For sure. Well, I've had a lot of fun touring Germany. The Germans are kind of a little bit rigid people. They don't like to break rules. I lived
there for 4 years.
Oh, did you really?
Yes, trust me.
They don't like to break rules. They don't like to stand out. So that's always a fun, as I like to be a mischief maker over there. I get them singing and clapping and I'll do weird things and like make screechy sounds and just act badly behaved and get them to kind of come out of their shell. That's really fun. And I would say that some of the music festivals that I've gotten to play have been a real blast when you can just look out and it's just people as far as you can see. You kind of get that nervousness and that sort of like pump up hype, like, oh, this is a really big deal, gonna do the thing. But I would say some of my favorite shows have just been either the magical combination of who was there or who I shared the stage with.
And hard to predict, huh? They just kind of
totally,
you never know when it might be.
And for anybody who's like thinking about, I want to travel but I don't know where I'll go or this or that, I do feel like a lot of times it's Columbia, Missouri, it's Canton, Ohio, it's Everett, Washington. It's not the places that are your like New York, LA that are the showstoppers. It's the sort of hidden gems you have to go and find, and you'll have the craziest. I could tell a lot of stories, but a lot of them are not appropriate for the radio. So
very interesting. Okay, all right. Well, what is appropriate for the radio is more music, especially for this show. So maybe I can get one more out of you.
All right, I'll do one more for you.
All right, we're going to do one more with Kristen Ford, and then we'll sort of wrap things up with her, and we'll get back to Rootin' Tootin' Radio. But absolutely thrilled to have you with us this afternoon. Thanks again for coming down. And the show tonight is going to be an excellent one, I think, down at the Compass Listening Room. You can check out Kristen Ford. She's got all kinds of cool music that goes back quite a few years, and her new music is fantastic. I've been really checking it out over the last couple of days. So once again, at the Compass Listening Room, that's 6 o'clock tonight. Kristen Ford, and we're going to get one more song from her right about now.
Mike, thank you so much for having me. Thanks, KOPN. We'll see you tonight at the Listening Room, Compass. This song is called True Blood. I felt such a shock. Boston Avenue, I became a lightning rod, or a sailor you cannot turn up. Now I'm hyper, better, I you want to believe it's true? You get what you think. You get what you think. It comes back to you. I believe I was born for this. I believe in nothing less. I am full of songs to sing. Sure is the true blood in my veins. I believe I was born for this. I believe in nothing less. I am full of songs to sing. Sure is the true blood in my
Oh, yeah. Woo! Outstanding.
Hooray!
Outstanding. Very, very nice. Thank you so
Cool.
much once again. All right, everyone, check that out. Kristen Ford. You can find her this evening down at the Compass Listening Room. Once again, 6 o'clock tonight. I encourage you to check out that show. It's going to be a good one. And tip of the hat to Violet and Phil once again for pulling off the listening room down there. It's a really great experience, and I hope more people around town get to get it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You are awesome, and have a great time tonight, okay?
Always do.
Next time you're around, you got open invitation here, okay?
I
Get a
love
hold
it.
of me, and we'll do it again.
Thank you.
All right, Kristen Ford. It's open. I keep saying that. Sorry. That's Rootin' Tootin' Radio. And you're listening to it here on KOPN Columbia 89.5 FM. I'll be back with you in just a few minutes. Here's one more from Kristen's most recent record. This is the title track. It's called War in the Living Room.
There's a war in the living room. There's a standoff in the kitchen. Something's wrong with you. I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing. There's a war on, there's a war on, there's a standoff, there's a standoff. Get your hands off that loaded gun. There's a war in the living room, like I was 10 years old again. When I done all I can do, that's when you sink your teeth in. There's a war on, there's a war on, there's a standoff, there's a standoff. Get your hands off that smoking gun. I'm not man anymore. I'm not man anymore. Just adrift in the universe. I'm not man anymore.
right, once again, that's Kristen Ford from her most recent release. And that's the title track, War in the Living Room. Fantastic stuff. Thrilled to have her with us in the studio this afternoon. All right, it's Rootin' Tootin' Radio, KOPN Columbia, 89.5 FM.